Everybody, this is a guided walkthrough for the JAuth challenge from picoCTF.org. This is a medium level challenge from the web app hacking category from the Pico Gym exclusive event. So the description of the challenge says, most web applications use third-party components without testing their security. Some of the past affected companies are Equifax, a US credit bureau organization. This is a breach due to unpatched Apache Struts web framework. Okay. Mossack Fornesca, a Panama Papers law firm. This is a breach that was caused by an unpatched version of the Drupal CMS. Wow, Drupal CMS. And Vertiscope, an internet media company, which was breached because of an outdated version of the vBulletin form software. Can you identify the components and hack the vulnerable one? Additional details will be available after launching your challenge instance. So, I mean, there is a known vulnerability for the application in this case. What we need to do first is we need to launch the instance of the website that we need to access for the challenge. So go ahead and click on the blue Launch Instance button on the challenge. And then after a few seconds, it says here, the website is running here. Can you become an admin? So what we want is admin level access. So it says you can log in as test with the password test123 to get started. Okay, I'm just going to copy the password. And then I'm going to click on the website. So the website is here. It's called Our Bank. Welcome back to Our Bank. We value all of our customers. Please log in with the username and password. So the username is test. Password I copied from the picoCTF page, and then we log in. So it says here, try this demo account. Authentication failed. Oh, okay. Let me test and capital TEST 123 exclamation point. Click on login. Okay, hello, you have logged into the testing page. There is nothing to see here. So if we take a look, anytime we have we log into a website, we're going to receive a cookie that defines our login details. Okay, so we can access the cookies by going over to our corner button over here on the web browser. We can go to No More Tools, then Web Developer Tools. Then we're going to see here that in the Storage tab, there's some cookies. So this cookie is called token, and we got a particular cookie value. So this value right here looks kind of like a JWT or a JSON Web Token. So let's talk about these JSON Web Tokens. Okay, so once again, we're talking about JSON Web Tokens, otherwise known as JWTs. So JSON Web Tokens, commonly called JWTs, are a common technology that web apps use to handle user sessions, and they're passed to web browsers as cookies. So sometimes you'll see a cookie with this particular kind of value, and what we have to understand about identifying JWTs is that they can be easily identified as a cookie value that begins with these characters right here. So EY capital J0, like this over here. So that's because the first part of the JWT is encoded as a base64 string. So all decoded JWT values begin with these characters right here. So open squiggly bracket, double quote, TYP, double quote. So we can ID their encoded values easily. So if you see something that has this kind of pattern, it's probably a JWT. So there are many different tools we can use to read and write JWTs, such as the JWT.io web app. So what we can do is we can go over to, let's see, where's the website? Here. So this is the website here. We're just going to grab this token and just on our console, we can base64 decode the token just to see what some of the token looks like. So we see here the beginning of the base64 encoded information. So type, JWT, ELG, HS256, and then a bunch of gibberish that, that doesn't get decoded as base64. Okay, let's continue. So what we can do is we can grab the JWT token here, and we can use a web app like this one over here. It's jwt.io, and we can paste in our JWT token. So from here, we can actually see a lot of information from the token. So we can see the type is JWT, the algorithm that's being used is HS256, and then a bunch of different stuff over here. So auth, agent, role, IAT, and what we want to do, I'm pretty sure what we want to do is we want to become the admin user. So what we want to do is we want to modify the JWT to become the admin user. Is we could go over from the JWT decoder part of the web app to the JWT encoder part of the web app. So we go over here. This part we're not going to, well, actually we're going to modify this a little bit later. What we want to do is we're going to switch our role from the user role to the admin role. So over here, we're just going to replace the word user with the word admin. And then we're going to take advantage of a very particular kind of vulnerability. We'll talk about this next. So the same web app can be used to modify JWT data, which could be used to get access to different user accounts. So for example, if we've got this information here, we could modify our username, we can modify whether or not we're an admin, and some other information. So the last detail about JWTs that we need to understand is that they must be signed using a keyword or a secret to be considered valid by the web application. So the secret that's used is usually some sort of word or phrase, and sometimes we can brute force and get these secrets in order to sign a valid JWT token. But in this case, we don't need to, and this is why. So we're introducing a special vulnerability. This is called the ELG none vulnerability. So there's a well-known vulnerability for JWTs where some web apps will accept JWTs that have not been signed. And this is also known as the signing algorithm being none, bypassing the need for a valid secret. So the way you do this, it's generally pretty simple. Inside of the application here, we can switch the ELG algorithm that's used to sign the keys from HS256 to none. So just go over here, replace HS256 with none, and then you'll see that we have a new JWT over here. The important thing that we have to understand is that this part of the JWT corresponds with the header. So the header is this information. So the second part of the JWT, and the way we know it's the second part is that they're all separated by these periods. So there's a period here separating the first part and the second part, and there is a period here separating the second part and the third part. But because there's no algorithm, there's no actual key, which means that everything after the period is going to be blank. Okay, so the second part of the JWT, which is this information here, this is the encoded version of this information in the payload. So because the algorithm is none, there's no third part of the JWT. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy all of this, which is a JWT with no signing key, and the algorithm is none. I'm just going to copy that. Then we're going to go over to the website. Under the token, the value here, we're going to highlight the value here. We're going to delete it, and then we're going to paste in the new JWT that we created. Press enter to enter it in, and then we're going to reload the page. So just click on the reload button on the web browser, and then it says, hello admin, you have logged in as admin, and then we get a flag. So picoCTF success authentication. Yeah, okay, so we're just gonna grab the value of the flag, copy it, we're going to go over to the picoCTF webpage, and we're going to submit it in the flag submission field over here. So click on Submit Flag, and we're done. Okay, so everybody, that was a guided walkthrough for the JAuth challenge from picoCTF.org. If you enjoyed this guided walkthrough, please click on the like and subscribe buttons on the video and leave a comment underneath the video. But until next time, HackerFrogs out.
Hey there, HackerFrogs! Are you enjoying this workshop? Learning new concepts and skills? If so, there's a way you can support the channel, and it's totally free. Just click on the subscribe button below the video. Also, click on the like button. And if you have questions or comments on this workshop, please leave them below the video. Thanks for listening. And now, back to our scheduled programming.